Well, this is great to be here. Gosh, Toronto MedTech Live, and we're just so excited to have Stephen here. Randy, my co-host. Stephen, you want to just introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. So my name is Stephen. I'm a director of strategy at Click Therapeutics. I've been there about 4 years now, but prior to that, I came from a background of advisory services, doing consulting work for both pharmaceutical companies and med device companies, ranging from corporate strategy, commercial strategy, market access, to branding and advertising as well. So a lot of consulting experience. Came out of the gate to join the industry side, to join Click Therapeutics.
Very good. So tell us one interesting factoid from your career, a little piece of magic that you've worked on that was interesting.
There's so many product launches that I was a part of. I was so excited. One of my last pull-through job at advertising and branding work. We worked on Spravato, a release of esketamine. That was the first kind of ketamine-related product out in the market. And this is a nasal spray for MDD and TRD, and I think it was a great experience for me to work on that product.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. All right. So, in my opinion, Click Therapeutics, your current home for the last 4 years, you said, right? Is really one of the most interesting players out there in the digital therapeutics market, and in many ways staked out a sort of a business and operating model that is both unusual for digital therapeutics and very almost more traditional in terms of pharma. So could you tell us, tell everybody a little bit about Click? Like, who are you guys? What do you do? What's a little your background? What are you working on? Knowing that it's not a short answer, so you can cut down on the highlights of it.
No, great question. Click Therapeutics, we're based in New York City. We are a digital biotech focused on developing prescription digital therapeutics. I'm sure we'll get into this, but there's a distinction to be made between digital therapeutics versus prescription digital therapeutics. Very different focus on what we focus on in terms of clinical rigor, product development, as well as our business models. And like you said, we currently have multiple partnerships, one with Otsuka, two with Boehringer Ingelheim, and one with Indivior, on creating a variety of products hitting multiple range of diseases to get these software-based treatments to patients.
So, and the Otsuka, that's voice, right? Is that voice with the company you're talking about? Can you tell me a little bit about that solution?
It's not.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, it's not a voice-based. It's going to be all software-based, focused on mobile applications. One of our first product that just got launched recently with Otsuka Pharmaceuticals is a product called Rejoin for treatment of major depressive disorder. The main core component there was emotional face memory task. So these are daily exercises that patients would go through to kind of rewire their brain to make sure that their MDD symptoms get.
Yeah, I guess what I was meaning, like NLP, if there was like AI using that modality is what I meant by voice.
Oh, got it. So no voice modality included in there, but we do have a lot of AI/ML backing in our products. We have about 38 patents globally, and a lot of them are very focused on AI/ML. So we're very proud of that. The company was founded in 2012, so we've had all this time to kind of develop our technology platform. So that's been kind of core amongst all of our products across the portfolio.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's super interesting. So could you talk a little bit about the Click kind of business and operating model, your sort of the pipeline and partnership approach?
Got it. Sure. So, for us, we see ourselves both as a product treatment development company who are also interested in commercializing our own products, while also having the service model where we are helping innovators who are like-minded like us, who have the same patient-first mentality, who wants to develop these innovative products. So we service them as well, developing products in prescription digital therapeutics. One of our ethos has been clinical rigor. I think we have been very unwavering in terms of not, wavering on the level of clinical development and rigor that needs to go through the product development process as well as our clinical validation process. So, whenever we get on these trade-off discussions, we're making these decisions, I think we've always tried to put patients first to make sure we're delivering therapeutic value.
So your timeline may be longer, or at least you have more steps. So that timeline, like you have more steps you're doing, and you're choosing to be more methodical. But you believe that investing that in the
Exactly.
end is a higher. Can you share an example of a trade-off conversation or a study you did that you felt like, yeah, this is a little painful on the schedule, but I'm really glad we have the data now?
Exactly. So, we can, and that is the kind of the evolving things that we've seen with digital therapeutics in general. I think a lot of folks have chosen different business model, different path based on their aspirations and values of where they want their company to go, where they want the product to go, how they want the product's impact to be on their patients. And then for us, these type of conversation comes up a lot. Hey, how much time duration do we want the clinical trial to run? How many people do we want to add for the therapeutic content? Do we want to spend more months building a therapeutic content that we can be confident that's going to deliver therapeutic value? Or do we want to generate something that is helping the patient manage and track their disease progression, but may not have clinical therapeutic value for them? So, and those are the questions that we kind of have in-house. We have in-house team from product design, scientists, as well as engineers. So they all kind of work under the same roof at Tribeca to develop these products.
Could you maybe give the range of types of scientific expertise? Because it's actually pretty broad for you.
Yeah, that's one of the, we are very, very selective on who we hire in terms of these talent that we bring in. Our scientists range from behavioral scientists to neuroscientists to folks that are in the gaming industry. There's a lot of folks that are with different perspectives. At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is trying to rewire neural circuits. So I think we can bring in disciplines from multiple areas and kind of piece that together, again, with different seat in the room. Right? We have the product people, design people, therapeutic people, and they have to go negotiate. Design people think this is what's going to make the product more engaging, but therapeutic people say this is actually going to deliver the therapeutic value. And in these conversations, I think we always have to strike the balance of how tech we are and how pharma we are. And I think what we have done well as Click is find that right balance in terms of both in the product development and our processes. Tech would love to go out there, break fast, learn, and iterate, right?
Yeah.
But and you can't do that in the pharma world because we are making products for patients and need to be safe and effective.
Yeah.
How do we find that balance?
Yeah.
Where can we be more tech? Where can we be more pharma? And I think that's a very challenging question that we kind of try to fine tune it throughout the year.
And then how do you weave that in with your vision and mission as an organization company and this excitement? Because I know AI's, tell us about that, your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I think that there we lean a lot more into our tech side. AI, in my opinion, I think has been around medical technology for some time now. You look at radiology stuff where they're looking at using AI to identify and diagnose things. But I think the trickier part is the ML bit.
Yeah.
Because ML signifies that the product is constantly learning and constantly changing. And how is the product going to change? How far is the product going to change before it impacts the safe effectiveness of the product? Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where the quality management systems come into play. And I think a lot of the company developers like us need to have a strong QMS team internally to make sure that we are having this active dialogue with FDA to make sure we assess that we believe it's not going to change and impact the safe and effectiveness. This is our assessment. Let's review this together. And this process and the speed where we can interact with FDA is going to really come into play when we can actually execute this properly.
Yeah. And it seems like it's not just that you need good quality people who follow process, but it's almost more like a cybersecurity mindset of where are the threats from, and you're constantly probing for what's changed in the environment or what could be different. I mean, you're doing a prescription app, right, in partnership with a pharma firm to basically change people's behavior, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's why cyber is definitely a huge new revolutionary topic. I think a lot of innovations happening from FDA side, from the manufacturer side as well. And I'm very excited about a lot of these conversations that are going to be happening in cybersecurity here.
Yeah.
But on the other side, that's why we also believe in that prescription part of the prescription digital therapeutics. Because like you said, we are making durable, lasting change in patients' brains. And that's why I think we need physician oversight to make sure that these things happen properly.
This is great. I'm so glad we got you. And are we going to get to see more of Steven maybe later?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. So, all right, I think we had two last questions here. One, without naming names, it's been quite a turbulent 12 months in the DTX world. For those who don't know, you can Google between some of the companies that have had ups and downs, but also some of the downs and hopefully possible ups around reimbursement. Like, you're a strategy guy.
Yeah.
How do you still have a head of hair?
I mean, in our world, every quarter, every day is a battle, right? And I think a lot of this work has been making the right decision at the right time. The cumulative effect of that is kind of led us to where we are today. That conversation, that question, I mean, I feel like I can talk all day about this. So much to talk about, but again,
he's punny. He's
but
smart.
again, there is, if we look at the distinction between the digital therapeutic side and PDD side, DTX side, I think when I'm thinking about the kind of the wellness solution, point solution, they're working with the employers, they're working with the kind of PMPM model, the business model is working. I can imagine a lot of the aggregation happening on that side because no employer wants to continuously assess point solutions. So some type of aggregation is probably going to happen there. But on the PDT side, there are companies like Pursue Care, Swing Care. They are building up their own virtual clinics and setting up their own telehealth model and to prescribe their own products. They're using the existing codes of the RPM, RTM codes. So that exists there too. But for me, I'm most excited about this new FDA guidance that came out last year about DERS, prescription drug use related software. This, I think, is going to revolutionize this digital and drug combination, because what this guidance says is that now the drugs can reassess and add software into their drug label. So this is a combination pathway that helps with promotional claims that the drug can make. So think about all the possibilities that could happen there in terms of labeling changes, revitalizing market products in a lot of Me Too category. Imagine, think about companies and products where it's high cost burden, and you really got to differentiate and talk about how you can reduce costs of the healthcare system. You can add software to alleviate all of that, all the data that you can get to show evidence for population health data. I think these are all very exciting things.
Cool. Well, we have one last standard question for everybody.
Well, we love that you came here and joined us, and we got so much insight. And while you're here, I'd love to know, what are you really excited about? What are you going to be looking at, delving into? Tell us what you're excited about seeing.
Yeah, looking into, this whole reverse pitch thing was really interesting. I think I want to go see some of the companies, see what they're interested in. I am very personally invested in leadership work. So I think there is a special program tomorrow morning on leadership. And then I am also going to be on a panel tomorrow morning. So needless to say, I am excited for my own pitch, my own panel about drug device combination. I'm going to be sharing a panel with some great folks up there, having a really nice discussion around the future of combination products. So yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for coming out. I think thanks for giving a kind of a lowdown on digital therapeutics to the Planetary Health First audience out there.
Of course.
Thank you so much for coming on, Steve.
Have a great conference.
Thank you for having me.